Well, welcome everybody to our Saturday Business Success Training. It's November 23rd, and I'm April Reynolds, and I'm happy to be able to be hosting the training this morning. As I was thinking about arranging this training, I was thinking, well, I like to kind of mix it up and have a theme, and just it helps us to be focused and absorb the information maybe just a little bit differently. And since this is the weekend before Thanksgiving, in fact, our only business success training before we do have Thanksgiving, I thought thankfulness and Thanksgiving would be a really good theme to be able to look at doing today. And as I was thinking about thankfulness, there's so many things with Relive to be thankful for, but one thing that I wanted to share with you is experience that I'm really thankful for that Relive Fit 3 program has helped me with. I started with the Fit 3 program when it began 2.5 years or so ago, and within the first 9 months, I lost 17 pounds and 17 inches, and I was so thrilled with that. But it wasn't an easy, instant process like we've always promoted. This is a more sensible lifestyle approach. It's something that takes time, and it takes consistency. And I felt like I had it down. But then life happens, and you get kind of a little bit less focused, it's easy to get less focused on your goals of what you're doing for your healthy lifestyle. I thought, you know what, I need a little more support. I need to be able to kind of get back a little more carefully on the bandwagon. So I decided to join the third Fit 3 Relive Champions Challenge that started in July and went through the end of September. And little did I know what those 3 months were going to look like for me. The day before the challenge started, I found that our daughter-in-law went into early labor with her twins. She gave birth to twins 2.5 months early, had some significant complications that could have turned out well where she might not have even been with us in the post-birth process. But thankfully, they were able to get those resolved. And so, and I had, interestingly enough, previously gotten tickets that I would have flown out a few days after that just to give her some support in what I thought was going to be a challenging time of pregnancy. But now it was the reality of babies in the NICU. And I was talking to some of my friends who knew I was going to be doing this challenge, and I said, April, maybe this is not the time for you to do this because this is really intense. It's very stressful for your family. You're flying up there for 2 weeks to go give them some support, and how are you going to, possibly stay with it? I'm like, I don't know. I just want to do the best that I can. I just feel like this is the time I need to do it. And so I did. And since I was the main one cooking for the family, I could try to make the meals that were a little more nutritious, and I was doing the shopping. And as my daughter-in-law was, trying to heal up from a C-section and babies that were going back and forth to the hospital to visit and so on, and I would stay up in the guest room and early morning hours or late night hours when I had just a few moments to myself, try to sit there in their bedroom and pull out like my little sheet about the exercises I was supposed to be doing. I'm like, okay, I've got to make this work. I've got to make this work. And for the most part I did, and I was really happy for myself to do that. But then I got back home. We were in the thick of trying to put in our landscaping, and we had contractors and trying to decide which one we're going to do, and there was just lots and lots of stress. And I found even during the challenge that I started kind of getting a little loose on some of my choices and getting a little more liberal on I'll have a little more of this dessert, a little more of this. And actually I saw my weight actually starting to go up. And that was really discouraging. I'm like, here I'm on this challenge. I'm posting these social media things about these things that I'm doing for my challenge. I thought it's kind of embarrassing to bail on it, but can I make this work? Maybe it's just the way it is. Maybe I just need to throw in the towel and just say, I'm resigning myself to gaining weight and, having it head back up the direction where what I used to weigh. And I thought, oh, do I really want that? And I just felt like I had to have a really personal talk with myself and say, April, I look myself in the eyes, is this what you want for yourself? Is this what you want for your life, just to give in, just to say, I'll plump up and that's just the way it is? And I'm like, no, this is not what I want. I am going to recommit myself to doing this. And I did, and I started seeing my weight kind of go down and go down. I'm like, this is great. I feel so much more in control. I felt so thankful and so grateful for the support of seeing the Fit3 community that helps people out. And then another bump came in the way that I ended up needing to go in for some surgery that I had been kind of putting off for a number of months, maybe even a few years. And I thought, okay, how am I going to do this? And the surgery, I ended up having a reaction to some medication, and I took the Relive products and the Fit3 stuff right up until my surgery. In fact, the day of my surgery, I had to go in early that morning. I was sitting there doing my exercises, per the sheet of what I'm supposed to do for the Fit3 challenge. And I thought, I know I have to do them now because I'm not doing them later today when I'm recovering from surgery. Well, the recovery was really, really rough. A lot of brain fog, a huge amount of nausea. They changed medications, and I couldn't even hardly get in my Relive products. I'm like, this is the time I need this so bad. And, I thought, okay, I'm going to get creative. Even if I can only get a half a teaspoon of Now In or half a teaspoon of the Active, I'm going to mix it in with applesauce and just do what I can to get it down. And I was frustrated thinking, okay, I can't hardly even function, let alone do my exercises. And I thought, but I keep thinking, okay, modify. I'm like, what can I do to modify? Okay, well, for today, I'm going to see if I can get up and just kind of walk around the house the best I can. Every time I can feel like I can do a little more walking. And then over time, because this was toward the very end of the challenge, I kept thinking, how can I bail on the challenge now? How can I say I can't do anything? I thought, I'm going to, here again, modify. So as I started feeling a little bit better, I'm like, okay, my goal now is to walk to our mailbox, which is like a little over half a block away, and walk back. And that doesn't sound like a huge deal based on what I had been doing, but for where I was in surgery recovery, that was a huge deal. And then another time, there was a baby shower I really wanted to go to in the worst way, even though I probably shouldn't have gone to it because I was such, in not a good shape in recovering. But I went there anyway. I said, Rich, just drop me off at the house, and it's a block and a half from our home, and I will walk back from that. And so for me, that's what I needed to do, because that's what all about Fit3 is about, finding whatever's going on in your life, modifying it for your circumstances, and doing what works at that time, no matter what hamperment is in. And I felt so confident knowing that I can take a lifestyle and weave it into whatever's going on in my life. And I wrote up about my experience, and then I felt so honored and blessed to be able to be selected as one of the people who received special recognition for having participated in this. And I felt like it was a great lesson to me, and I hope that by sharing it, it'll be a lesson to the rest of you, that no matter what has happened in your life, whether it's things that are a great deal of stress or whether it's physical things, you can choose a healthier choice, and you can choose to do what you can on that day, even if it's a lesser amount. And I also felt like I learned from the Mary, who was the grand champion. She posted something recently saying she felt so honored and grateful, but even so, she's helping her daughter move in somewhere, or a new home or something, and she said, there's a lot of stress, and I feel like I'm letting my exercise go by the way. Please help keep me accountable. And so I love the Fit3 community, how we support each other, and I just encourage you, whether you want to do a Fit3 challenge or whether you just want to jump into the community, it's a great way to focus on continuing a healthy lifestyle, no matter what is going on in your life. And I just feel so thankful for this program, and so thankful for the Fit3 community and the Relive community, and so blessed to have that as a support for me. And so that's something that this Thanksgiving season I am super grateful for. And it's just one of those things that we can, share with others as we're going through trying to reach out to them about the business, about the health products, about the fitness program, that we can offer encouragement and help people know that we're for real. We're not just like a glossed over, oh, do this and everything's perfect. We do something that is for real people in the real world, whether it's real business, whether it's real fitness, whether it's real health. It's something that we can share as we feel that gratitude in moving forward with what we've learned with Relive. So, how do you succeed with Relive? Well, we have a circle of success that keeps in mind 5 fundamental steps. And those 5 fundamental steps, as we continue to do them, we are fueling new people through that system, which includes daily activity and a business cycle and a corporate support. And that's an important key part of the whole process, because you can have a business where you have some key people that are buying products, or maybe dabbling in the business, but your business is not going to thrive until you can funnel new people in and see, who goes where. Because I've heard so many people say, and I've done this myself, oh, this person is going to be awesome in the business. This person is going to be great with the products, and they're going to share with other people and tell what great results. And a lot of times it's the people you think are going to really soar with it, they may not necessarily soar. And the person that you think, I don't really know, maybe they're the ones that catch fire. So we need to be open to sharing with whoever to see who will be that person who's going to really catch fire and just say, man, I'm going to run with this. I'm going to tell people about it. But for our part, we need to focus on taking action now and doing these daily fundamentals of identify, connect, share the story, ask for a decision, register, and go. And in between each step, do follow-up. And, here again, we do the best we can within our life circumstances. Sometimes I've had situations where I was traveling, I was trying to do follow-up, and I would kind of weave it in the middle of a layover and an airport. But sometimes it didn't just happen exactly how I'd want. But it's better to not beat yourself up, to say, you know what, I'm going to do the best I can for today. Kind of the same mentality of Fit 3. I'm going to do what I can for the program, rather than just say, I'm going to just let it go for a period of time. I'm going to focus on getting on board as much as I can for my life circumstances as I can. And sometimes you can run, and sometimes you can fast walk, and sometimes you can just take baby steps. But whatever steps you can do the best you can to put those into your life so that you can be always moving forward. So that first step is identify. Make a list, sit down with a notepad, sit down with your computer, your phone, list out 10 product prospects, 10 business prospects. Write the why of what you thought of each person. That provides kind of the context for contacting them. And the why would not, of course, be, well, because I want more people in my organization. The why is their why. And sometimes I have found that their why may be different than what I think their why would be. So you can, contact them and talk to them about, why you thought of them, but then really, really listen, because as you listen, you might find out the reason that you were drawn toward thinking that they would be interested in might be an entirely different. Maybe you're thinking of them for a health thing, and you find out in talking to them that they really need additional income. Or maybe the particular health issue that you are thinking that they need help with is not as important to them as some other issue. That happened with a recent contact of mine. I heard a kind of a shirt-tail relative by marriage, had been diagnosed with cancer. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to get all this information about cancer and how this could help her as she's going through treatments and stuff. And as I got on the phone and was visiting with her, she goes, you know what, that's the least of my worries. And I'm like, really? Because I would think that's the big deal. She goes, oh, what I have had terrible problems with is ongoing pain from a back surgery that she'd had that had gone afoul, and she says, it's just awful. It's every single day, it's relentless, and I'm on this and this and this for it, and it's still not doing it, and I feel like my body's falling apart. I need something to support my body to be overall more healthy. And so I thought, okay, even though I would think that her diagnosis of breast cancer would be a bigger deal, for her, this other element is what works. But the beauty of Relive products is we don't have one product for pain and one product for this disease or for this problem. It is all the same products, but how we approach them might be different. So we need to look at that and decide the first 5 people we're going to contact and decide who we're going to contact today. And, of course, we always have people to talk to, friends, family, people at work, church, social media. Find ways to add to your list, people you meet at the store, if you travel on an airplane, people you meet, if your coworkers or someone you meet as a part of the general public doing your business. Any of those people are new people. They're good to talk to. And we're connecting them. We're calling them up and saying, share your excitement and why you thought of them. Using their why lets them know that you really care. And really the big key thing is speak from your heart. Your heart will guide you, because I've had some people, and whether or not they got on board with Relive right now, they could tell I really cared about them. They would say, thank you so much for thinking of me, April. Thank you so much for calling me. And I kept thinking, oh, my goodness, who in the past has thanked me for reaching out to them about Relive? But I think the difference was because they could tell I was really sincere. I was really, really interested. I was interested in what their concerns were. And when you're talking to them, of course, you're not going to kind of lay it all out there and explain all the details and stuff. The point is you're needing to get an appointment, a time where you can explain more of the big picture to them. So some examples are, I know your health is priority. I work with a company that could help you. When can we get together? And other people, you remember hearing them at a soccer game or some other kind of a tournament saying, I heard you talk about how money is tight, and there's something that's helped me. You might want to hear about it. When can we get together and talk? And some people might say, well, tell me what it is. That's what my first, response when I usually say something like that. I say, well, there's not really time to go into right now. I want to really focus on the game, but let's see if there's a time that we can get together. So, and oftentimes the best thing you can say is, how are you? And, that's different than saying, how are you? How are you? It's kind of like a little passing like, hi, but how are you? So that people can tell by your voice inflection that you're really asking, how are you? And that you really want to know, and then listen. And then you ask questions. The person asking questions is the one in control. Ask, well, how's that working out for you? Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Or, what have you done to help? And from there, you can use the tools and the stories that we have to validate. And as you're sharing the Relive story, share your why, your belief, your heart. Share the whole Relive story, the products of the business. And I'm going to put in there also the Clogus Foundation, because I know when I first was exposed to Relive, was that the key thing that drove me to Relive? No. But when that was included in the presentation that I saw, which mine was a long-distance presentation, it was a webinar, then I kind of went, wow, this is not just all about them and making money. This is about helping other people. And that really touched my heart. And so I really encourage you to consider to build that in as a part of it. And make sure you introduce your upline and other sidelines and those of us that are working together to be able to support each other. When you're sharing your Relive story, help engage new people and help reach out to talk to them about who they know. And you can do it in Relive meetings and events. I mean, right now is a time where everything's kind of themed around Thanksgiving and that sort of thing. And maybe by the time you put together a meeting or an in-home party, it's going to be past Thanksgiving. But still, that this is a time of year people tend to feel thankful. They tend to feel like they want to reach out to friends and to others that they feel like they care about and are interested in. And, of course, we have webinars. We have so many wonderful conference calls now. We've got the program that the ambassadors have put together that Sean hosts and others host, and the short and sweet calls, and the other different kinds of things that are really great support, because sometimes we live close by and we can meet with person, have people come to in-home events, and sometimes they don't live anywhere near us. And so these are great tools to be able to do that. And, of course, the Relive blog is great. We have videos that we can send to them. And you don't need to know it all, and you can be honest about that. Say, you know what, I'm not sure, but I have a great network of people I'm going to reach out to and see if I can find some answers for that. And use that built-in system that Relive has to help educate and validate people. Then be prepared to do business when you're asking for a decision. Have products and tools with you. You might have some things that you can offer them that they could buy from you right then, and maybe have a recommended order. Because here again, when I first got in, people said, well, what do you think I should get? And I'm like, let me get back to you on that. Now, to be sure, sometimes people want to focus on exactly something specific for them. I've had some people that have said, that they were most interested in getting energy, or but then one of them was a caregiver of my mom's, who is a current customer of mine, and she's like, I've looked at the different products that your mom takes, and I want that Energize because I want energy. And I try to explain to her, well, Energize is not necessarily straight up for energy, because some people get energy from it, but it's giving energy to the inside, energize inside your body, and helping to kind of plump up those cells that maybe over time have kind of shriveled and gotten harder to absorb liquids and nutrients and even medications and stuff. They can kind of plump them up and make them easier to absorb things. And I said, if you're really looking for energy, you might want to look, at our foundational product. Now, no, I want Energize. So if they have decided that there's something that they want, I've always heard there's not a bad place to get started. Listen to what they're interested in. Make sure that they understand it. But if they are set on ordering something, support them in ordering that, and then help them with stories and information so that they can be best at comprehending how they can move forward. And I've since spoken to this caregiver. She goes, you know what, I may actually step into, taking the Now Next, but I just wanted to start here. And I'm like, great. Wherever they decide to start, we need to help reinforce them and encourage them and say, that's a great place to start. And here again, ask those questions. Maybe you could recommend getting a super PAC or personalize it to their needs. I had another young person who I worked with, her mom, and she said, oh, my adult daughter has thyroid issues. And I had shared with her my thyroid story, and this was a few months back. And she says, I think my daughter needs it. I'm going to talk to her about it. And so she talked to her about it briefly. And anyway, I think the mom is going to be paying for the products at this time, since her daughter's just newly married and is trying to get her feet on the ground. And she said, my daughter's dealing with some nausea from pregnancy, and she's wanting help with thyroid, and it turns out she had some irregular heartbeat issues. As I talked to her, and I said, really? Because I didn't know that, but I shared part of my story, which included part of an irregular heartbeat issue. And but they wanted to keep it in a certain price point. And so I said, okay, well, given what you're looking at, and given that I just had the gut sense that taste would be an issue for her, I would normally choose Now and Lunar Rich X for my first products. But go with your gut or your inspiration, because sometimes, God can guide you, or you can just have this intuition that a certain something is better. And so for this young mom, I decided to recommend Now and Energize. And I think the Lunar Rich X would be wonderful for her. But at this point, we're just trying to get her regular. So here again, keep it simple, but personalize it, and listen to that intuition about what your people need, and then help them look at ways to save on the products. And, of course, throughout this product process, you can say, who do you know who could benefit from the Relive products? When you're asking for a decision, then for people who are looking for a business or for income, they may be confused. They may feel like just like in the picture of the young man with the backpack, and there's one path going one way and one path going the other way. They're like, okay, do I want to be a distributor, or maybe I should start out as a customer first before I jump in as a distributor? Or perhaps it makes most sense to be a master affiliate so I can get the best deal. So when they're in that quandary trying to decide what is best for them, then you can help them review the profit options and the comp plan. Ask questions and listen. Help them to see their potential and select the best option for them. Help them to know that they can feel good and comfortable, that they can start out at one level and they can move up if that helps them feel more comfortable. Maybe some people are saying, no, I want to jump right in. I want the best price right from the beginning. I know you have an awesome guarantee. Great. But here again, whatever level they start out, a lot of times people are a little nervous or a little bit like, I don't want to feel like I'm being hustled for this. I'm like, that's not what we do. We want you to feel good about where you're starting. We'll give you all the information you can. I'll tell you where I started, where I ended up within a few weeks, and what other people have done, put them on calls, help them to see what would be the best possibility for them. And likewise, once they make that decision, say, that's a great decision. That's a really good place for you to start. And then help them to register and go. So for consumers, help them with a product regime. Here again, this young mom that I'm working with, she works nights. And so she seems to prefer a texting kind of a contact. And even though I would rather talk to her, I know that a lot of younger people, that's what they prefer. And so I've been texting back and forth saying, hey, how's it going with the products? And, well, I'm trying to be consistent, but it's just really kind of hard to get in a routine. And so I offered her some suggestions. You might want to set a little alarm on your phone, or you might want to tag it up with, you'll take it at breakfast and dinner time every day. Something that will give you something to bookend it, and that you will always eat breakfast, you'll always eat dinner, that you'll know you'll always have your shake just before, just after that. And keep it simple, talk to them about did they take the shake, and make sure they're being consistent. And if they're struggling with the consistency, like I said, give them some ideas, some support. And then follow up and see, what results you've seen so far. Now, some people will say, well, I'm not seeing any results. And I said, well, that's fine. Some people, it can take them up to 90 days because we want to make sure that you're taking this long enough to give it really a fair shake. But then sometimes they'll say, oh, I'm not seeing results, but I've noticed that this one woman, the caregiver for my mom, she says, I've noticed that I usually stay up until like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and now I am feeling like I'm sleepy. I want to go to bed by midnight. She goes, does this stuff make you sleepy? This was the Energize. And I said, no, it doesn't make you sleepy necessarily, but maybe it's starting to heal your body from the inside out, and it's helping you to realize the time frame of when you go to bed is maybe not the best of healthy choices for your body. So maybe it's kind of starting to kind of rework some things in your body so you feel comfortable to go to sleep earlier. So it's really interesting what little interesting side results can come out as a result of talking to them about what they're seeing so far. And then important throughout, who do you know who could benefit from these products or from this business opportunity? And of course, this is not a rigid schedule you see on the slide, day 1, day 3, day 10. Go with your gut. Go with what you feel inspired is best for them. But just make sure that they do get that support, because I remember when I first started, it was good, but I hadn't really seen the full picture of how good it really could be, how many results I could get. I think if I had not had that ongoing support or follow-up, I'm not sure I would have stuck with it, even though I was seeing some good things. But it's that follow-up that helps them to know that they can stick with things. Then set up your distributors to succeed. We are like the guide that you can see in the picture there, that he's hiking and he's pointing out to the person he's with, right down this pathway, down where that canyon is, where the stream is, that's where we're going. We have been there before where they are. So we are their guide, so to speak, to help them get where they want to be, especially as they are trying to build a business. So we help them to take immediate action. We say, this is where we're going. Now, first thing is, let's identify. Let's make a list together, you and me. Now let's connect. Who are we going to call first? And let's talk about how we're going to arrange the call, what you're going to say. Now let's share the story by setting our first appointment so we can give a bigger picture of it. And then help them by reviewing the basics of running a Relive business, ordering, registering people, how to get around Relive.com, review the distributor kit, which is now online, which is awesome, and talk to them about the Relive.com, get started, introduce them to your upline, distributor services, just kind of review the whole Relive system, because you are their guide to help them get confidently on the path. And of course, we have so many Relive tools that are just wonderful to work with. Blogs, we have some great brochures, the Lifestyle magazine. There's some, the product catalog and product brochure that for some reason I had escaped understanding about. And Luann Picarelli had pointed out to me recently, she goes, oh, April, these product brochures and product catalogs are wonderful. And I'm like, really? Where'd you find out about them? So she showed me online where I could see them and order them. And that can be really helpful. Now, some people say, I don't want products catalogs because that just is going to be on somebody's countertop and then stuck in the garbage. But other people say, no, I really value being able to look through this and see what this means for me and what I can do to help teach people about what these products are. Someone like my mom's caregiver, she might benefit from something like that, so she can get a better idea of what the different products that my mom takes. Because her thing is, I've looked at the products your mom takes, and I've smelled them. I like the Orange Energized best, so I want that one. So we need to help them to better understand what are some of the different products, what can they do, and how can we help them on that process. And of course, there's the Relive system, the business cycle. I don't know, is the conference that's coming up this summer an international conference? I was not real clear if it was, but I know it's a bigger one. We do have these Relive Lives, which I'll get into in just a minute, special events that are so important to go to. And so this is kind of like a big cycle. You don't like say, I'm only going to touch in with my upline, and then I'll go to maybe one Relive Live thing, and then I'm not going to do any of the other things. Now, we don't want to fill our life so full of trainings and webinars and meetings that we don't actually go out and do the business. We need to have those new people. If you can see on the side, they have little teal arrows that says new people that goes back and forth to daily activity and corporate support, and new people going to special events, and new people from special events going to daily activity. So that's a key part of it. But we need to have a good balance in what we're doing for training and what we're doing to reach out to actually do our business and bring in new people. But as we use the Relive system, it's a tried and true system. It's not something we have to go reinvent the wheel for. This is something that people have done for many years. And when people try to go off on their own and say, I'm going to invent a whole new way of doing Relive, and I'm not going to really worry about plugging into the Relive system, that's when they get tripped up. There was a great group where I used to live that was just, man, they were zooming on ahead, and then they kind of went off on a tangent and started wanting to do their own thing. And I think that group has since really struggled because they didn't feel the need to plug into the Relive system. And that's what you're doing today. Being on this call, seeing the webinar, that's a really, really important part of plugging into the system, and I really applaud you for it, because I realize there's other things you could be doing on a Saturday morning. But taking the time to review these things gets them in our minds, gets them to be a part of who we are and how we do our business, and that's a key element. So, Relive Live 2020, we've got some great things going. February 14th and 15th, a wonderful Valentine's Day weekend in Dallas, Texas. And the thing is, those tickets are cheaper than I have seen, I think, any conference tickets ever. Right now, in the early bird special through the end of this month, so you've got just about a week left, $50. That's incredible for what you're going to get there. Incredible. So I would really urge you to consider getting your ticket if you have not. You know I just got mine just within this last week, and I kept thinking, oh, I'll get it. And I really appreciate that Brenda said, April, make sure you get your ticket. I'm like, oh, yeah, because it's easy to say I'll get it later, and then all of a sudden the deadline's passed, and maybe the price has gone up substantially. I don't know exactly to what, but I'm quite sure that once it expires the early bird deadline, they will go up to some extent. And so I'd really encourage you to do that. I'm excited that it's going to be in Texas. I really, really value it, going to a variety of different places. And so let's make sure we really support this. And I'm really excited to hear more updates about the RLV, about the Dr. Galvez's attempts, and hopefully maybe we'll be ready for products by then of the Lunar Rich X and the RLV. That's going to really differentiate us in the market. And just associating with people, feeling the energy. You can look at a recording of the conference, or you can have people tell you about it. And yes, that's helpful, but it's just not the same as if you go there and just experience that feeling, that electricity, that energy, that positive sense that you can just absorb from people around you. And hearing people speak in person, there's just nothing like that. There just isn't. And then, of course, we can't forget, in addition to the February one, there's the July 31st, August 1st Relive Live in St. Louis, Missouri. That's always a really special time when we can have it in St. Louis. And I know Tom had said, I don't know, we got to see if you guys are going to work hard so we can get approval for having it there. My understanding is that the lodging and the rental of the facility, I don't know if the lodging, but the rental of the facility is more expensive there, so they wanted to make sure that we're committed to doing our business before they would make the commitment for Relive to put the money into doing that. If that is accurate, whether it is or not, it's still exciting that we would be able to go right there close to where corporate headquarters are, and I'm sure that they'll probably have us have the opportunity to tour corporate, and it's just a great opportunity. So make sure you get those on your calendar. And maybe you want to coordinate with some other people that you're going to go with. Maybe you want to go a day or so early and do something around town. Or maybe you want to go a day early or half a day early and just sit and brainstorm and absorb and be kind of in the zone in the moment about how can we share ideas back and forth about business. So but by the time that the conference starts, man, you're already up and running. You are there. So it's just a great, great way to be able to further your business and get that excitement for either or both of these, hopefully both. So as we go to these conferences and stuff, and in between conferences, we can engage your team. To build ambassadors, we build relationships. We build relationships with each other as we grow and learn and share ideas and share camaraderie about our successes. We pick each other's brains about the challenges we've had and say, man, I just really struggle with this. What did you do in this situation? And we get ideas, and that support is just huge as we work to build our Relive businesses. Of course, we're going to stay engaged with what's going on in Relive, with their emails, webinars, social media, the texts and stuff. Build a library of stories as we get to know each other and get to know other distributors. You know that there's distributors you can call on that will help share powerful stories that will validate what you have going and what some of your customers or clients or new distributors are dealing with, and help your team to set their own goals, help them to stretch their thinking, review the different steps that will take them up to presidential director, review with them what their next step is, because say, okay, where you are now, at the end of the year, I want you to be a presidential director. Well, frankly, most people don't do that in a year. Help them to say, pick a goal that is doable for them, saying this is where you are. What is your goal? You want to have this much volume? You want to go to the next director level? Do you want to go to the next star level? Whatever it is, help them come up with something, and then help them learn how to break down that goal into doable steps so that they feel like, okay, I can do this. This is not just a pie-in-the-sky idea. This is something that I have a definitive plan and process to be able to do this. And then from there, we're going to duplicate, duplicate, duplicate. If you can see, identify, connect, share the story, ask for a decision, register, and just go. Continue going and doing, and look at who is next. Who can you reach out to share this wonderful opportunity and to share the things that we can know that Relive can help provide for them. It's an exciting time to be with Relive, and it's an exciting time to be able to share and to be with you. Do anybody else have anything you want to add, or questions or comments? Okay. If not, then yes.
Can you hear me? So
yes, I can.
I wrote it in the chat box. I'm pretty sure that the price of tickets doubles to $100 starting December 1st.
Wow.
So if you didn't think you're going, you better get your tickets now. Yeah,
I know. I was talking to someone recently, and she was saying that money is tight for her. She's like, I'm not sure if I can go to a conference I really want to. And I had a thought that I thought about mentioning, and I didn't. I may call her back up and say, you know what? If I were you, I think if there's any ghost of a chance that you can be able to pull together the funds to go, and even if you're not quite sure, just get that ticket, because I can imagine that if the price doubles, then there are going to be people who are going to be looking for tickets to jump in closer to the conference going, I didn't get my ticket in time, now it's $100. Is there anyone out there that has a ticket that they can't use? So if you're on the fence, I'd say just get it. Just get that ticket, because that's a big, big difference. So thank you for pointing that out, Brenda. Any other comments? Well, I hope each of you have a wonderful and blessed Thanksgiving. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. use this time to enjoy being with family and friends. And while you're with family and friends, listen with your heart. Listen with your heart and try to plug into that sense of who of those that I'm associated with need to hear about this. Now, maybe you're in a situation around Thanksgiving dinner table and you don't feel like that's the time to bring it up, but really listen to what people are saying. And later, if it feels more appropriate, you can turn to them and say, you know, Aunt Mary, you were mentioning over Thanksgiving this, and it's been on my heart ever since then. You know, and I'm really concerned for you. And I would like to be able to offer this. You know, let's get together and talk. You know, and so this is a wonderful time to share wonderful relationships, but also keep your listening ears open and your heart open to guidance about who could use the Relive products, who could use the Relive business, and go out and enjoy this next week. It's a wonderful time. God bless you all, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye now.